Hot takes, real talk, real issues. You know the deal. We keep it fresh, we keep it true. On Mary with the Voice podcast.
You are Okiki. Please.
Yes.
Let me introduce yourself. Let me know who. I don't want to know the Okiki that I know. Let's hear who you are. Your full name. Where did you grow up? How did you go to school?
Of the full names.
I think they give you regular, like what?
Oh yeah,
21 names?
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
No, not 21 names. Just everybody has needs to give it.
The one in your passport, please.
Okay, one on my passport.
Yeah.
Okay. Okiki Oluwa Akimbi Akindele.
Akimbi.
Yes.
Akindele.
Yes.
Born and raised?
So born in Lagos, moved to Abuja, then Kano.
So, no. They just carried you to Abuja. Hello?
Yeah.
No, born and raised. And then at what age did you go to Abuja?
Okay, 2 years. Okay, I can't tell you why we moved to Abuja. I just know. The only reason I can tell you that I was in Abuja at a point in my life was because my immediate younger sister was born in Abuja. So I can't exactly tell you.
From Lagos to
Abuja.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved to Kano.
Okay.
And stayed in Kano for a bit. 7 years. 7 years. 7 years, yeah. And then we now moved back to Lagos.
At what age? Back to Lagos?
10, 11, thereabouts.
So,
can't remember.
And then you came to Lagos, then you went to school here?
Yes. Went to school here, then went to the UK for a bit, then
at
came
what age?
Back. 13, 14.
Okay.
13, 14, thereabout. Went to the UK, stayed there for 1 year because the plan didn't work out.
Okay.
And then came back to Nigeria, then went to Ghana. And then, then went to Ghana and I'm back to...
You went to Ghana?
I went to Ghana.
How long were you in Ghana?
So, I can still call Ghana home right now.
Sorry, don't do that. You're talking to me.
Exactly. I can still call Ghana home right now because my parents, until they moved, they stayed there. And they moved like 2 or 3 years ago. So we moved there in 2007. And we've been there ever since.
So basically, you're my Ghanaian brother.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so you finished in Ghana and then what next?
And then I went to Canada. Yes. We finished in Ghana, went to Canada. Didn't work out. That's the thing. In all these moving places, I keep saying didn't work out. There's a reason why these things happened. Okay. And so I went to Canada for school. Did what? 3 weeks. Came back.
3 weeks or 3 years?
3 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks. Came back and then had a gap year. I was forced to take a gap year.
Okay.
And then went to Mauritius, where I stayed for 3 years. Then back to Nigeria. No, back to Ghana, then Nigeria.
Because parents were still in Ghana?
Yes, because Ghana was home. So then back to Nigeria for NYC. And fast forward, here we are. Fast forward.
How? When? Now I'm thinking, okay. No, we need to be serious.
Okay.
When or at what age did you find out that you had sickle cell? We're trying to be serious now.
Yes. So I can't categorically tell you that there was an age, like that there was a conversation with maybe a parental figure or a doctor or something. I can't really tell you that I had that conversation. I just realized that many times in school, in Kano, I would miss school for a long period of time. Never asked why or what was going on. I think my first recollection would be when we moved back to Lagos. Right? When we moved back to Lagos. When we moved to Lagos, we were staying with my grandparents, my dad's parents. They were staying in VI, right? Idejo. And so anytime I would fall ill, we'd just go to, I don't know if it's still there, 1004 hospital. We would go there, and since it was just really close, and at some point, the conversation came up. It was when, sickle cell. I knew the term Oh, SS. It was a doctor. Yes. It was a doctor. Oh, he's SS. And then I'm like, what's SS? I'm like, oh, yes. There's this category. There's AA, there's AS, there's SS.
What was that?
Yeah.
Told you what it did they explain to you what it was?
No, it was just
so it was casually.
No, it was so when how children can be, right? I was not one of those children that would be outright with what they wanted to ask. Mm-hmm. So adults are having a conversation and then you're just sitting there, and then outside you now ask, Mommy, what's his SS? So doctor is saying to my mom, mm-hmm. Oh, you know that he's SS and this and this and this and that. I'm like, what's SS? And she's like, okay, it basically means sickle cell. You tend to fall ill more than others. So
just a casual.
It's a very simple. My mom, shout out to Confront, by the way.
Shout out to who?
Confront.
Who's that?
That's my mom.
Oh. Hi, mommy.
She was very instrumental, right, in my growing up and how I saw this thing and how I took it in, how I behaved, how I felt about myself, right? She was very, very instrumental in that. So she didn't want me to, maybe she didn't want me to think too much about it. That was my first recollection of knowing what it actually was.
Okay.
Or what it is.
So what is living with sickle cell like? Now that, so you did graduate from Mauritius, and I think, remember you said that, I didn't have any episodes or nothing there.
Yeah. So when I moved to Mauritius, the weather was beautiful. Well, of course, it's Mauritius. The weather is beautiful.
Is it not beautiful in Nigeria? Hello? Ghana?
So the weather in Mauritius is beautiful. No, okay. So what's actually interesting about the Ghanaian weather, I can tell you something. I didn't have a whole crisis in Ghana for 2 years. Yes.
At what age?
This was, so I'm not really sure about the age.
That was secondary school?
Yes.
Secondary school, yes.
There was a period I didn't have a crisis for 2 years. It was like,
you were healed.
It blew everybody's minds, especially my parents. Right. So when I get into a place and there's like a change of environment, it takes some time for my body to adjust. Right. Mm-hmm. So my body's trying to adjust. So of course I would have like a series of episodes back to back.
Oh, wow.
And then once I'm finally adjusted, we now see we stabilize, and we now see what the environment has to offer. So when we got to Ghana, of course, once I got in there, the Ghanaian weather is dry. They're very hot and very dry. Nigeria is quite humid.
Yes.
That's quite problematic for me.
Oh.
And for people living with sickle cell, right? It's quite problematic. But the Ghanaian weather is dry. It's dry. So you are sweating, you are replenishing.
Yeah.
Because of the moisture in the Nigerian air, it's rehydration can be a bit of an issue.
Oh.
I would say it was lovely for me because one of my triggers is extreme temperatures. Too hot or too cold.
Okay.
Too hot or too cold.
Humidity as well?
Yes, humidity as well.
Okay.
Stress, dehydration.
So that's peculiar to you, or you think everyone?
I like to say it's peculiar to me,
to you.
But it's something that many sickle cell people deal with. Especially, which is why they will tell you, you would have to have a sweater around. You will need to, when it's raining, make sure you're covering up when the weather is cool.
So too cold of an extreme.
Yes.
Gets you very.
Yes.
What happens though? Do you know the bio behind it?
I don't know the biology or the chemistry behind it, but it's just
that it affects you.
It just affects you. And then, but for extreme heat, I can understand that one. You sweat a lot. Rehydration is very important. So when you're dehydrated, you are kind of at a huge risk of getting a crisis because water is needed. Water is a very important tool in every warrior's life. Water is a very important tool. You need to keep drinking. You need to be rehydrated. Right. Steadily stay hydrated. So if you're in an extremely hot environment, you get dehydrated, and that's just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode.
So you found out that in Ghana you didn't have any episode.
There was a period I didn't have a crisis for 2 years, like a full-blown crisis where I would need to go to the hospital. There'd be moments of, oh, I'm feeling down. Okay, just take this, go and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the next morning, hallelujah, I'm fine. But to say that, oh, they were going to the hospital, getting admitted for 2 years. It was a beautiful time.
We should send you back to Ghana, no?
We should.
Find your Ghanaian, wife and everything. And what's your understanding been like with sickle cell?
My understanding of what exactly?
Mm-hmm. Of the way it's evolved and over the years, how it's affected you?
So I've taken sickle cell as, it is what it is. Now
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm a Christian, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm still believing for a miracle because we've heard stories of people whose genotypes had changed, right? Yes, we've heard testimonies of people who they were previously SS and then they became AA. So yes, I believe in miracles.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I'm believing that a miracle will happen someday.
Amen.
But, I've taken it. It is what it is. It's a part of life, right? It's a part of my life. It's something I would have to deal with. It's something I have to work with, right? Whatever I'm doing, whatever decisions I'm making, whatever, even down to going to places, right? You have to think about certain things. Is there a risk of experiencing any triggers? What's happening here? Is this an okay place? So it's just managing expectations and managing movements and stuff like that. Managing decisions. So it's something that I've taken and I've said, okay, it is what it is.
Did you at any point ask your parents how? Why? Did you?
No.
No way.
Because I knew. It's just...
No, knowing is one thing.
Yes. So for the purpose of the viewers, right? I would explain that for you to get a sickle cell child, right? The parents is either both parents are AS. If both parents are AS, right? They will have chances of having a sickle cell child is 1 out of 4. If both parents are AS, chances of getting a sickle cell child is 1 out of 4. So when understanding came and intelligence came, I just knew, both of them are AS.
Both of them are AS?
Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't ask, I didn't go and say, oh, why? Like, what do I want to ask? What's the question I'm going to ask? Like, why is this happening to me? Right? No.
Anger, maybe?
No, it wasn't.
Nothing. And there was no question like, did you guys check? Did you not know? For wanting to have a bit of closure piece kind of thing.
Closure for what? Closure
that, okay, maybe we did not know or we knew but we loved ourselves.
Oh, yeah. No, so that is what I've put in my head, right?
What? So
love.
Okay.
I've accepted that, love makes you do things. Love kind of blinds your eyes to certain things. I didn't say that. I don't want to think anything else. I've just chalked it down to love, right?
You've chalked it down
to love. I've not asked them because at the end of the day, what would you do? There's no asking.
Some people, some people would sometimes feel. There was once we had this conversation on the radio. Closure. Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
We had closure. Like some people want to know when they break up.
Yeah.
They want to know, like, okay, why did you break up with me? I want to know so I have peace when I'm going. So I'm asking in that line, for me, thinking, okay, if they fell in love and they didn't know, it was they didn't know. It was an innocence. They fell in love. They did not know. But then there's this other aspect of, okay.
Oh, you guys knew and you still went ahead. Oh, hell nah. Oh, no. Because what will he do at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Do you get? So if I ask them, I'm like, did you guys know? No. Okay, you didn't know. Fine, forgiven. Did you know? Forgiven.
Forgiven. That word forgiven.
Yes, but did you know?
Yes.
Oh no, it does nothing. Yeah. It does nothing. And I kid you not, it's never come up. It has never come
That's so
up.
Beautiful.
And okay, I can't
continue. No.
There was a time when I was having a very was very close moment with my mom, and they were talking about it, and then she mentioned it that I've never come to ask, that I know, but I've never come to ask, and she's just wondering why. And I said, there's no, like, what would it do? It's not going to be like, oh, now I know. I'm free. No. If I know, I know. So,
you just said, now, I have never come to ask. That's what she said. You have never come to ask. Are you the only one out of, how many siblings are you?
We're 5.
Are you the only one that's SS?
No.
How many out of the 5 are AS or SS?
2.
2 are SS?
No, 2 are SS. 1 is AS. 1 is AA.
Oh, wow.
So we are just the full spectrum.
Full spectrum. Does the AS have similar, or they're just...
No. So hooky? sometimes, and doctors might disagree with me, but sometimes they'll tell you that AS is actually the best because they're just in the middle right there, right?
They're the best in what sense?
In terms of genotypes.
Okay.
Right. Some like I've heard that. I can't confront, so I don't want any I don't want you to quote me, but there's some. So I've heard that AS is actually stronger than AA. I have heard. But yes, so the AS one, he does not have. He does not.
Just normal, nothing, no episodes or nothing. No. Okay, so out of 5.
So he's just a carrier of the gene. So people who are AS are carriers of the gene.
Right.
They are carriers of the gene. Not that they're sickle cell warriors. No, they are just carriers. It is now when someone who is AS meets someone who is AS, both of them now donate. They are both carriers. Then they become givers.
Right.
And then you have SS. Yeah.
What do you wish more people knew about the science or misconceptions surrounding sickle cell?
What I wish more people knew
about the science or misconceptions surrounding sickle cell. But I heard, for example, now that it's only Black people, Africans, that carry sickle cell, for example.
Well, it's not only.
That's just one of the misconceptions I believe I have, for example.
It's not only. But I can tell you that Nigeria, we are the world exporter.
Sorry, what?
Yes, we have the highest number of cases of sickle cell.
Nigeria has the highest number of sickle cell patients.
Now we sell them. We have the highest number of sickle cell cases in the world.
Do we know why? Is there science study behind? Is there a study behind that?
There may be. I don't know, but I mean, doctors will just tell you that there are things that are prone to Black people more than others, right? And sickle cell is one of them.
But in Nigeria.
But this one, Nigeria, we're now we dey sell out Nigeria. But some studies will tell you sub-Saharan Africa. But if we want to go down, like pinpoint, we have a lot. Because, I mean, we are many, right? We're many in Nigeria. So I would think that a problem that happens only to Black people or predominantly to Black people should happen to, of course, you'll find a lot of cases in the most populous Black nation on earth. I don't have any major misconceptions, but it's just, I think over the years, it's become better. I think over the years, there's been more awareness.
Okay.
Awareness, right? There's some people who didn't think I would pass 25, right?
Really?
Yes. I mean, there was a time when sickle cell, like superheroes, we have had names over the years.
Like
Abiku.
What is that?
Abiku what's the literal representation of Abiku is born to die. So you have those stories where a child is born and then maybe like the child doesn't last 2 months, the child doesn't last 3 months, and then another child comes, same thing, and they'll say this child is an abiku, so that this child is just come to die, and the aim of that dying is just to punish the mother.
Oh wow!
Yes, I mean you hear many stories like that. Then there's now while the abiku name tag still exists, there's now the Ogbanje name tag.
Ogbanje is what?
Ogbanje is
similar.
It's like what's Ogbanje? Mermaid, right? Yeah. So it's just like we're here to cause pain to our parents, basically. Wow. Meanwhile, there's just not the understanding that this child is.
No, but I've heard there's one, the oldest sickle cell patient is how old?
The oldest? Mm-hmm. I don't know how old.
I heard once, I can't remember where, that the person is 80-something years old.
Yes, of course. I mean, science has advanced. Awareness has grown, right? So I was just saying with that, but of course, in Nigeria, we know that information is still a very big problem, especially getting to rural areas. I am sure that in 2025, I'm so sure that in 2025, there's still some people who are stigmatizing sickle cell children just because they fall ill probably every month or probably every other month in the villages. So awareness has not really grown as much as we think it has. You know how we say that, awareness has grown, but where is this awareness really going to? Is it every day we're putting banner, we're going to Makoko to talk about one thing, or are we really going to the villages where these things happen? So I am sure that in some village somewhere, maybe in the West or in this, there's a family that is really suffering right now because their child is sickle cell and they have no idea.
Their child is still suffering right now. What are some of the sufferings that comes with being a sickle cell patient?
Crises.
Yeah, what happens? So can you elaborate or educate what does it mean to have a crisis?
Okay, so
what happens to your body?
Every sickle cell patient has triggers, right? It's very important for you to check out to know your triggers. So
triggers like the weather, for example. Like the weather. Is there food? Are there food triggers?
Yes, there are food triggers, and it's not in the food itself. It's in is it sanity of the food?
The hygiene.
Thank you.
Okay.
The hygiene of the food, because as sickle cell warriors, you're very prone to infections.
So that means your immune system is
your immune system is compromised
at all times.
For the most part. Your immune system is compromised. But of course, that can always be worked on. That's why we have routine medications that we take to help.
To boost,
Yes, to boost your immune system and work. So for me, and I've heard that it varies between the crises.
Okay.
It varies. So for me, they're pain in the joints.
Joint aches.
Joint aches, yes. I would get a pain in my chest. I will get a pain in my lower back. Usually, if I don't have a pain in my lower back, I would not go to the hospital. That's why earlier I said I was badly behaved, right? If I don't get a pain in my lower back, I'm not really going to the hospital. If I can function, I will function. It's when I can no longer function, then I now say, okay, right.
Time to go.
So
what do you do with the lower back pain now?
So
what would they normally do?
Ideally, when you get to the hospital, stopping it, there are 3 things that the doctor would want to do. First of all, shout out to doctors, by the way. The first thing you'd want to do is manage the pain, rehydration, and then check for infections. Because more often than not, infection is the root cause, and then sometimes malaria, many times malaria. There's always malaria hiding somewhere.
Okay. So what would be the first, if you had an episode now, you go in?
First thing would be to set a drip line.
For
rehydration. First. Because the thing about that is, people think it's easy to drink water.
I was about to say.
Sometimes it's not that easy to drink.
I was about to say, how much water do you have to drink?
I have to do at least 3.
Oh, you have to do at least 3?
I have to do at least 3.
But you can't get away with 2.
I badly behaved, but the least I have to do is 3 a day.
Wow.
3 liters a day. That's really the beauty of setting drip lines, is that while you're doing other things, while you're not actively drinking, you're passively getting rehydrated, right?
How long is like one hospital stay?
Okay, that one I can. Is it for me?
Yeah. Or does it vary?
It varies.
It varies.
It varies.
Depending on how bad you've been.
So I really can't tell you how it varies for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that, at least for my recent past, it's gotten worse as
longer.
Yes.
Your stays have become longer.
Well, the last one was not as long as the previous one. The previous one I spent 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks in the hospital. This one I spent just over a week.
Okay.
So it varies.
What's the longest you've spent in the hospital?
3 weeks.
Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rehydration.
Yeah.
Infection.
Yeah.
Are you given pain meds?
Yes.
Are you allowed to self-medicate?
Yes, but it depends on what are you self-medicating on.
Okay, but it's prescribed.
Yes.
Okay.
Some are prescribed, some are not.
So you have to.
Yeah. I mean, some are over-the-counter medications that, okay, can I get ibuprofen? Can I get, paracetamol? Yeah. Can I get this? Can I get those ones are over-the-counter, easy. But then when you start getting into the
real stuff,
the tough stuff, yeah, of course, they need to be prescribed.
What role does nutrition, we've said hydration already, and lifestyle play in managing your condition?
So nutrition plays a very huge role. And that's where I wanted to move to hygiene, but of course, hygiene is also part of the preparation, right? If something is not prepared, if something is prepared in not so hygienic scenarios, you know that chances are an infection is just lurking somewhere, right? So, and of course, you have to be intentional about your classes of food, right? So, what proteins are you eating? What vegetables? Because we're advised to always take vegetables. It's very important.
Have there been any blood transfusions during these admissions?
Oh, yes.
All of them, or?
Not all of them. I think I've had, 2 admissions, 3 times I've done blood transfusions.
In your entire life? In
my entire life. 3 times, 2 bags each. Okay. 2 pints each.
Okay.
Yes. One when I was young. I was much younger. That was when we just moved to Lagos. And then, which kind of caused a whole other issue.
Why?
So remember I mentioned that I was in the UK, right? I went to the UK. So I was there for a bit. That was 2006 to 2007. Now, I think at that time, the medical system there did not understand or really know what sickle cell was. Right? So they were just doing a lot of trial and error.
No way.
Okay, let's try this.
No, wait, there were no Nigerian doctors?
No. So let's try this. Of course, 2006, 2007, the great Japa had not started. So we don't have...
No, but there were Nigerian doctors everywhere.
Yeah, but they were not in the hospital I was in. So they were doing a lot of trial and error. Let's try this. So at some point, when you have tried so much and then everything seems to fail and then you seem to have a headway and you just put everything in there. So one day, one of the doctors comes and says, have you ever had a blood transfusion? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, that's it. And they were like, no, it's not necessarily it. Like, they're doing a lot of trial and error. And at some point, what actually made me leave, or what made us leave, was that at some point, because of this trial and error, they said they wanted to take a bit of my liver, of my kidney. Yes, they wanted to cut a bit of it out and take it to the lab.
No way.
They wanted to take it out and study like what was going on here. And then they came in and they're like, all right, Mr. Kindle, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and see if we can get a bit of your liver and just take a bit out of it, take it to the lab, see what's going on. And my mom, she's just like, okay. And then they leave and she's like, oh, pack your things. Let's go. You are going. Handle. We did go house. And then that was what made us,
kidney.
That was what made us come back.
Oh. How do healthcare systems here support or fail to support people with sickle cell?
Okay, so I think in their defense, healthcare systems.
So in their defense. Why are you defending anyone? I just asked a straight up question. I didn't say defend anyone. I just said give me straight up.
They are trying.
I didn't say defend anyone.
They are trying. Okay, not in their defense. They are trying.
How are they trying? Or how are they not trying? Or what do you think could be done better? Yeah.
They are trying. But I think there's a lot of, shout out to all the nurses, but I feel like there's a lot of jadedness that nurses have. There's a lot of jadedness. They're just, and I understand, they see a lot, they see so much. So when certain things happen or when certain people come, they just, don't worry, like, calm down. Like, we'll go get to you. But I'm in pain. My body's on fire. Like, and they're like, no, we'll get to you. We will.
There was once a patient I had in the hospital that was addicted to pain meds. And she was admitted because of the addiction. So what you just mentioned now, I can very much see why a patient will become addicted to pain meds, because you just literally described a situation that would make me want to go under the table, under the bridge to get medication.
Yeah. Okay. So this is it, right? Going to a hospital sometimes, right? And I don't even think it's just for sickle cell patients. I think it's for everybody, especially Nigerians, especially Nigerian men that don't like to go to the hospital. Is because the wait time is annoying. Sometimes you go into a hospital by 3
p.m.
You don't come out until 9. And 75 to 80% of that is spent waiting. It's spent just waiting. And now, imagine how long, that's like 6 hours. Imagine the level of pain I'm in 6 hours. So, a beautiful situation. That's which is why many times some people would just rather either go to the emergency room or they just rather take care of it at home or go to a nearby pharmacy where they know that I'm able to get some initial succor or some initial relief from this pain. Right? Sometimes you go there and I'm in pain and you're telling me to go and do a test. Can we sort out this pain matter first?
So you think because it can't be seen, because you're sitting there as a whole person,
I have a story on that one.
Because if you come in as a patient, I look at you and I'm like, okay, they're not bleeding. They're still talking, they're standing, and they're complaining of pain. I'm coming.
There's a lot of that. At a point, I started having to fake my real pain.
For them to?
Yes, I had to fake my real pain. In the sense that now I'm in my 30s, right? I've had this experience for a long time. So I know how to bear, I don't think bear is the word. I'm looking for the correct word of chest.
How to conduct yourself?
Yes. Maybe let's clean it up that way. How to conduct myself when I'm in the hospital.
Okay.
Right. I'm not, hey, God, I better go. Not that I'm taking it away from anybody that has that experience, that feels that way.
But that's what you have to do.
But that's what, it's not even
that's what they want to see.
It's not even what I have to do. It's how I'm feeling, but it's just, I don't know why, but I've just found a way to
show the pain.
To show. For me, in that situation, there's a lot of breathing. There's a lot of shaking of legs. There's a lot of teeth grinding, right? So there's a lot of, I'm squeezing my face, but it's in phases. I like to compare my crisis, some of my crises, to like when a pregnant woman is having contractions. Like when the pregnant woman, when she's having contractions, when the contraction comes and they say breathe. So even me, at a point I said, so there's a lot of breathing involved. Techniques. So I breathe. Sometimes the pain will come as a rush. So that period I'm breathing.
So it contracts.
Yes.
So the pain contracts as well.
Yes.
Oh, it's not a pain that is non-stop.
Sometimes it's non-stop. Sometimes in the joints.
Okay.
And around the body. Sometimes it's a whole just bodily neck
aching everywhere.
Neck, chest, shoulder, elbows, knees, lower back. And so it's just sometimes it just comes as a rush. So I'm breathing, and then when it stops, stop the breathing. So it's just like contractions when a woman is when a woman is pregnant, right? So because I'm able to do that, many doctors, I have seen many doctors who have judged me based on that. So imagine going to a hospital, waiting for 6 hours in excruciating pain, and I'm walking away with paracetamol or ibuprofen.
No way.
Mary, how will I not go on that bridge? How will I not go on that bridge?
What? Paracetamol after 6 hours?
That day, I was so... I was like... So because I did not shout, I did not scatter everywhere. I did not shout at nurses. I did not shout at doctors. I did not... Which I've done in the past.
Wow. So there's a serious stigma.
Like a stigma. Maybe you could call it that.
Because
if I could not.
So unless you shake the hospital, basically curse people out.
So it's on the
6 hours later, you came with ibuprofen and paracetamol.
So I got into Canada, did like 3 weeks, right? And then I had a crisis. I go to the hospital, right? And the way their hospitals are set up in Canada is not really like the one where you run in and then they are doing, it's not, I don't know how it is in America.
The protocol is...
Yeah, it's not like how I've seen it in the movies where they are rushing you in and they're like, stay with us, sir. We got you. No, it's not like that.
They don't got you.
So I get in there and then...
They don't got you.
They don't got me. There's this blockade. Right? And there's this old woman. I'm going to call her Gertrude because she was very rude. So she sits there, and then she's sitting there, and I'm like, hi, good afternoon. She's like, hello. I'm like, I'm having a sickle cell crisis. Okay, sir, please have a seat. At least when my body's
sorry, I'm having a crisis. Have a seat.
Have a seat, yeah. We like some biscuits with your seat. So I'm sitting, I'm like, okay, I sit down, I wait, and I go again. She doesn't stand up to do anything about what I told her. I'm like, ma, I just, sorry.
Ma, did you say?
I'm Nigerian, sorry.
Did you call a nurse in Canada? Ma.
I don't even think she was a nurse. That's the thing. I just thought she was like a front desk person. So I'm like, ma, I'm having a sickle cell crisis. Maybe you didn't hear me before. She's like, yes, I've heard you. Please have a seat. Hey, God. And my body's on fire. So I'm not
meant to laugh, right?
No, they laugh. Enjoy. Because you said I don't laugh. So I sit down and I stand up and I start pacing. Because I can't be in one position for too long. I'm pacing. And then I look at the door. I look at a poster on the wall, a sign. Mary, let me tell you what's on that sign. Please be patient. Understand that patients with more grievous issues will be will be attended to you before that information that basically if you're here and then someone
that is worse
off comes in, they will attend to that person first.
And you're not bleeding.
Like, okay.
You're looking very much whole.
I'm like, clearly, these people don't know what... Gertrude here does not really know what a sickle cell crisis is.
Well, Nigerians left you for 6 hours.
So, I now... I'm pacing. And I'm just like, please, what do I do? And then they wheel in one white girl. I'll call her Haley. I'll just give her anyone.
Because
I don't know why, but I'll just call her
Gertrude was because she was rude. What about Haley?
I don't. It's Haley that just came to my mind. They brought Haley in. And then they go, sorry. Now, I don't mean to downplay anybody's pain. Mm-hmm. I don't mean to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? And then Haley is on a wheelchair. They wheel Haley in. And then the man goes, I don't know who it was, but the person that wheels her in goes, I'm sorry, hi. This is my daughter. She's having a migraine. Mary, if you see the speed at which Gertrude stood up, I say migraine. I'm not taking it from anybody's pain.
Right.
Migraine. She's having a headache.
She was in a wheelchair?
No,
the wheelchair.
It's not wheelchair like, oh, she couldn't walk. It was wheelchair of probably wheelchair they saw outside. Oh, she's sick. Sit down. When I see that they wheeled Haley inside with all the paparazzi that I'm like, oh, so you guys are capable of paparazzi. Okay.
You started yours.
Let's do this. I know. Ma'am, please, can you go in there and tell a nurse that I'm having a sickle cell crisis? And she's like, okay. Sheesh. And
why are you so offensive?
And then she goes to the back, drags herself to the back. And I'm waiting. And like a minute later, a nurse just runs out. So it was the way they went this way and to the left, right? A nurse runs out that way. And it's just, you could see the panic on the nurse's face. And then she runs to me. She says, are you the one having a crisis? I'm like, God bless you, it's me. It's me. I almost started crying. I'm like, it's me. And she's like, come in. I'm like, God bless you. I am not bad.
Wow.
And she came immediately, put me on a bed. Set up the drip. Then, okay, how come I'm paying medication? Okay, we need to get a doctor to do that. See, I was just like, God bless you. God bless you.
So it took Haley to come in.
It took Haley
for
to
you
come
to
in.
see.
And I was like, hey, God.
Do you think sickle cell receives enough attention in medical research and public health policy?
Yes.
It's happening?
It's happening.
Are there any breakthroughs? Have you heard of any?
Yes.
Locally?
The one I've heard of locally is the bone marrow transplant.
Locally?
Yes, locally. I've heard that the Sickle Cell Foundation has started doing a few. Now, about the cost, I'm not sure, but I know that they've started doing a few bone marrow transplants. So what a bone marrow transplant does is that you get a bone marrow donor, someone who's a match. So you're going to do a test to check who's a match and who's not a match. Mm-hmm. And you're going to, the person donates. And so they remove yours, they put the donated bone marrow in there. And then you start producing good hemoglobin, you start producing good blood cells. And ideally what that does is it reduces your chances of crisis.
Right. Because your red blood cells being produced is much higher.
It becomes very little to none.
Does it change your blood?
More or less, yeah, but it doesn't change your genes.
It doesn't take the gene.
It doesn't change the gene. So even if you do a bone marrow transplant, you still cannot marry, you can only marry AA.
Right.
You still have to be particular about who you marry, because that's if you're intending
who you have children with. Don't say marry.
Who you have children with. Yes, who you have children with. Thank you for the correction.
Mm-hmm.
Who you have to be particular about who you have children. When my mom heard of the bone marrow transplant, of course, she went into research mode. Researching, even at some point, she has started talking with the doctors in India and everything. At that point, I think it was like $50,000 to $60,000.
Sorry, what?
$50,000 to $60,000.
Now,
for the procedure alone.
Okay, so if this was in the Western country, you have health insurance, I'll probably pay for this. You know, insurance would take some of it. You know, for surgeries, if you have back surgeries, knee replacement surgeries, all these things, your health insurance takes most of it, or if not all of it, because it's needed for you to live, healthy, normal life. In the case of SS, I really don't know, because I don't choose.
So why I think insurance might not have worked?
Because you chose.
No, not even because you chose. Many insurance companies, right? Even in Nigeria, many insurance companies would not
carry.
They
will not put the SS condition as.
They will call it, what they call it?
Selected.
Pre-existing condition. That's the word. Pre-existing condition. Wow. So I want to pay. I want to buy the premium. I want to buy my own insurance.
Right.
But they'll ask.
They'll check first.
Do you have a pre-existing condition? Is sickle cell a pre-existing condition? Yes. It's a pre-existing condition.
You came with it.
So it's not, because I've had situations where, I'm not happy with a particular, maybe with the office, HMO, and I want to get my own, or just in case,
backup.
I've done research, not many. I don't think there's any that does for personal, like if it's personal and I'm paying out of pocket. They would rather have a corporate, yes. They would rather have a corporate package where
everybody falls under.
So I think maybe they want to use, for some people that don't fall ill, let's use it, 2 people that fall ill regularly. But if it's someone who is prone to falling ill regularly,
as an individual, it doesn't pay for them.
It doesn't pay them. And I understand it. So I'm not sure whether insurance will cover it in the Western world. I'm really not sure. Because it may be one of the pre-existing conditions that they would call.
But there are a lot of foundations out there, no?
Yeah.
That supports the Sickle Cell Foundation.
Yeah. There's the Sickle Cell Foundation in Nigeria. There's, I think it's the only Sickle Cell Foundation I know right now.
How do you advocate for yourself in the medical settings, especially when your pain or needs are misunderstood? Now, I think you said you have a hospital that knows you, a doctor that knows you. But prior to that, how did you?
Even now, so it's half and half. I had a period in my life where I used to be very aggressive and very nasty. Very aggressive and very nasty with doctors, right? Doctors and nurses especially. So it's one of the things is issue of veins. People who are close to me know that when I see veins, I lose my mind. When I see people's veins, yes, it's weird. When I see people's veins, right, I lose my mind. See what the Lord has done for you. When I see veins on people's hands.
What do you mean what the Lord has, because you can see them?
Because you can see them, right? So
that means I'm well hydrated, right?
No, not exactly. But when I tell you that one of the major things, nothing.
I can see this one.
Yeah, but it's fake.
What do you mean it's fake?
He's a liar.
This one?
He's a liar.
I can see this one.
I can tell you that they are liars because we have tried.
Oh, this one?
Yes. This one, there's another one here.
Yeah, I can see
this one. They are all liars.
Fake
false prophets. So, remember I tell you that one of the major treatments, right, is rehydration.
Right.
How am I going to get rehydrated? Through the veins. If I do not have veins, rehydration, I have been discharged or I've been sent home a few times because they're unable to set a line.
No.
Yes.
Sorry, the hospital says go.
No, it's not good. Of course, they cannot say you good. You want to collect their license. So it's, Mr. Akindele, so right now we're really having trouble getting your veins. So I think what we can do is, would you promise that you will drink water? We need you to rehydrate, please. We really need you to rehydrate. We need to drink a lot of water. You understand that rehydration is very important in your healing process. It's very difficult for us to set your line. So, please, we need you to drink more water. We're going to give you a few pain meds. Where do you live? Okay, you're not too far. Okay, I can give you pentazocine that can enable you go home. Hopefully that will take care of the pain, but we really need you to rehydrate, okay? Well, and this is a doctor who has decided that, okay, you can come back tomorrow for the test. That you can come back tomorrow for the test results. So yeah, so please ensure you rehydrate. It's very important. Please, I'm begging you, please. If there's anything, please let me know. Yeah?
That's it.
And that's it. Then I go to the nurse's station, collect my injection, and go home. I'll have to go home and start drinking, chugging, forcing myself.
So does it come out eventually?
It did not come out
after you went and chugged.
It doesn't come out. The vein doesn't come out. It's not a thing of. I have checked. If you Google it, what brings veins out? What foods bring veins out? What do I need to do I'm about to go into the gym. Just hope, because I realize that people that go to the gym, once you check their hand, just network everywhere.
This is a network.
It's network. And when you see the veins, it's just connecting. It's like network everywhere.
No, but
so I'm about to go to the gym to start that. So that hopefully maybe
your own will...
Maybe my own will just one day the veins will be like, oh,
here we are.
He's trying so hard. Let's help him. And the veins come out. Hopefully. So, because at some point, because, I mentioned that over, for the past, let's say 5 years, right? My crises have
gone higher.
Yes, have gone more difficult. I don't.
Why are you having more crisis now?
I don't.
Has your food changed? You've not traveled? Nothing. But you're having...
Maybe it's Nigeria.
Maybe we need to go back to Ghana.
Maybe I need to go back to Ghana.
Have you thought about it though?
Yes, I have.
To relocate back to Ghana?
Yes, I have.
To see if...
I've thought about it.
The crisis will reduce?
Yeah, to see if... I was like, no.
Like, how was the frequency like over your head now if you were to...
Okay, so...
The past 1 year, how often?
Last year I had 2. Mm-hmm. Two.
Who you asking?
2.
You had 2.
The voice in the sky.
So you had 2 crises last year.
2 major. Okay, there was one where it was not really a crisis, but I got to the hospital. Let me finish this one. I got to the hospital.
Sure.
And then I'm not okay, so I'm not really having a pain. I'm not having pain. So I'm not in pain.
Okay.
Sometimes this happens. I'm not in pain. But I just feel some type of way.
Okay.
I'm
You're
like,
not feeling yourself.
And people know I don't go to the hospital. The voice in the sky knows I don't go to the hospital. So they tell me, go to the hospital. Just go and check. Just go and check. Just go and check. Mm-hmm. Right? And then maybe I have maybe the sniffles or something. And then I go to the hospital. And then the doctor, they do a blood test. And then I come back. And the doctor opens the results. And ha! It was the funniest thing. You're like, how are you walking? Wait, let me just confirm if you can go home. And he has to text his boss. He has to text a higher doctor.
Your blood levels.
My blood level was low. My blood pressure was low. And he was like, how are you still? And this is me already making plans. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to just branch in the hospital, check what's going on. Because I know I'm not in at this point, I already know when they're going to keep me.
Right.
Do you get? My last admission, I had an event I wanted to go for. My body has started feeling one way 2 to 3 weeks before. But I was like, nah, I can't go to the hospital. Because if I go to the hospital, they will definitely keep me.
Oh.
So let me patch. Let me do a few cut and join here.
What would you do in that cut and join? What would you really do?
Cut and join, I'll do.
Is there any some supplements you take?
No. I'll take pain meds. I would kind of reduce my movements. So I only go to the important Right. So
you really have to.
Yes, I now have to draw up like a scale of preference.
Oh wow.
Although badly behaved, I don't really stick to the scale of preference, because at some point, everything is important at some point. But yeah, that's just the badly behaved part.
So basically, you're trying to preserve your energy.
So I'm trying to preserve my energy. I'm trying to preserve that I don't break
overdo.
down. And I don't overdo. Right?
Wow.
No, sorry, I don't. Let me not lie here. I do. There's really no fear of overdoing. I don't think there's such a thing as overdoing. When you show up strong. So I don't think there's a fear of overdo. But things like that, I wouldn't go to an event and be there all night. I'll know that, okay, I'm going to an event. By this time, I need to leave. By this time, I need to leave so that I can have enough rest.
For the next.
So this last admission I did at the event, fun fact, event was cancelled. So the event was supposed to be on a Saturday. And then Friday, they tell me that the event had been cancelled. I think that was what my body was waiting for. That's information. Maybe it was adrenaline. I don't know. That's what my body was waiting for. And my body
just went.
They told me that information in the afternoon. By night, I was in the hospital.
Thank God.
My body just said, "Oh, God, really? It's been cancelled.
Let's go.
Take this body, Lord."
How has your condition influenced your approach to your career or planning for the future? It
has
Let's
not
start
really
with
affected
career.
With career, it has not really affected my. It has not really affected my career.
Okay.
Just because I would say that because I'm not. When I was getting into this job, I work in the media space. I have not really said. It wasn't a deciding factor before I got into it. I just love
what you do.
I love what I do. I love. There's something I call sweet stress.
Sweet stress.
Yes.
Okay.
Event planning, putting things together, making sure things work. I love it.
What about planning for the future? Marriage, children.
Yes.
Girlfriend.
It's a factor.
It's a factor.
It's a factor now because I have to. Usually I joke and I say that.
We know.
Usually I joke and say that. I mean, this one is not even. There's a thing they call first date questions.
Oh right.
I say this is not even first date questions. It's first meet questions. Like, hi Mary, how you doing? My name is Okiki.
I am.
No, seriously, my name is Okiki.
My name is Mary.
What's your genotype? Like, it's first meet questions.
Right.
So I know whether I'm catching feelings or not. But of course,
But you're already gone on a date to ask that. Before you go on a date, you're meant to have done that before you even do the date.
That's what I'm saying. First meet questions. So I'm not getting, of course, you meet before you now decide that let's go on a date now. So you ask these questions. You are supposed to, like I say, but
right.
I don't.
What has been the hardest part of living with sickle cell that really people don't see?
I think it's how things that people don't have to worry about, I have to worry about.
Like?
So it's the...
You wake up in the morning.
It's the pricking up of my ears when I hear thunder. Yes, because it's going to rain. Thunder is a sign of rain. I don't like rain. Rain is not sweet for my body.
Oh, wow. Some people think of rain like, oh yeah, sweet dress.
So
sleep.
when I hear people say,
go to sleep, I want to snug in.
I love the fact that the rain is falling, like everywhere is just cool, everywhere is just nice.
Oh wow.
It doesn't. It's in me trying to pick out an outfit. I'm like, the sun is shining now, but will it rain later? Do I need to? Yes, I'm wearing a t-shirt now. Do I need to carry a sweater? Which is why I have a sweater in the office. Just in case. Right? So it's in everybody saying, hey, let's go and swim, let's go to the beach. And everybody's like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, I will meet you guys here. Like, do my leg in the ocean a bit and like, yay.
You can't go.
it's in people saying when guys have like some aggressive plays, like you guys are playing and then they are punching each other and they're like that. I'm like, how do you do these things? You punch me once, my arm is gone.
No, we're laughing, but it's not really.
No, it's so. These are the things like that happens.
So you can't do rough play.
So semi-rough. Semi-rough. Let's have rough play talking.
Rough play talking.
Let's have rough play talking. Why are you kicking me? Why are you jabbing? Like
this any little thing could send you to the hospital.
It could. It really could. For a long time, I told my mom that anytime I swam, or of course, as children, you play that you're swimming, you fill up the bathtub, you be in there. And I told my mom that anytime I did that, I would have a crisis, like I start feeling sick. And so like, oh no, that's not true. Years after she had, I told you now, I'm a researcher. And I told her, I wanted to come down. That thing you said is true. I just read it somewhere.
Okay, so what has been the hardest part of living with the sickle cell that people don't see?
So there are things I call moments of glory, right? When I'm supposed to do something, and usually these are things that are planned for. And like I spoke about, I had an event to go to, and I was packaging myself, and then many times over the years growing up, I've realized that maybe a day to the event, I have a crisis. A day to something happening, I have a crisis, right? And it's not happened once, now it happened numerous times. So that's, at some point, I like to say that I was once smuggled to the UK.
You were once smuggled to the UK?
I was once smuggled to the UK.
You can't smuggle a human being to the UK.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not smuggled per se, but let me tell you the story. So yes, we're going to go to the UK as a family, right? For holidays. And then we had done all the, we had planned, we don't buy tickets, everything done set. And then on the day of, I have a crisis. I fall ill in the morning, right?
And the flight is in the night.
So, the flight is in the night.
So it's a family holiday.
So yes. So it's not small money, it's family holidays. It was me, my dad, my mom, and my sister. I think it was me, my younger sister. Right. And then my baby brother, 3 at that time. So it was happening in the morning. So, quickly, let's go to the hospital. And then doctor says, yeah, he can't go. Like this. And they're like, he's already, we're planning to travel this night. And doctor goes, I'm sorry, he can't travel in this condition. So we go back home. We'll tell my grandmother, Bolajiko of blessed memory. We tell my grandmother, and then she goes, he's that doctor and his family that will not travel to UK. So we make a plan. We make a plan. Like, I can't categorically go into the details of the plan, but we make a plan. And I'm asleep. So when it's time, check-in 2 hours earlier, get to the airport and all that. So I find myself in the airport. I can still remember the corner. So we've put coats on the floor. I'm sleeping. Time to check in. And then at this point, I'm very young. I'm still very young, right? And then time to check in. And of course, you know that if you're taking a sick child who is in pain and everything, of course, they will flag it. Checking customs, airplane, they will check it. So I'm there sleeping. And then they wake me up. My mom wakes me up. And then she's like, Okiki, wake up. Look at me. I'm like, okay. So we're at the airport. You need to open your eyes now. You need to open your eyes. I'm like, okay, man, do you want to go to London? Do you want to go to London? I'm like, yeah. Okay, so open your eyes and smile. So because I'd been drugged up.
You're out of... Oh.
I'm out of it. So I'm just like, Okiki. Okay, I need to just for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes. And then we're going past the first hurdle, past the second hurdle, end up in the plane, sleep off.
Wow.
And then we get to the UK and I think we call my grandmother and my grandmother like, Sherimo, so I said it's that doctor that we know. Shout out to doctors. Doctors are not evil people. They just tell you what it is. I feel like doctors over the years, doctors have had a very bad reputation, especially when it comes to testimonies in church and stuff.
Wait. Okay, so how did the family manage your crisis while you were there? The weather was different.
So interestingly, I've had miraculous moments.
That was one of...
Yes.
No way. You got there and everything...
I got there and everything was really okay. Got there and I had felt better.
Your grandmother
so
was right.
It probably was just stress induced. So imagine I had stopped. We had cut down that event just because I was a bit stressed. There was a time I was ill. I slept through a whole robbery. Yeah.
Sorry.
I slept through a whole robbery.
At home?
At home.
The robbers didn't wake you up?
In fact, so I was not feeling well. And then we had family over, my cousins. They had come to our house to just stay for the holidays. So usually, because I didn't want to be alone and nobody wanted to be with me inside, so they would bring a small mattress to the sitting room and then while everybody, so I can be with everybody. If I need to sleep, I'll sleep. So I sleep, I'm ill, and I wake up. And it's one of those miracle moments where I wake up and I feel much better. And so I wake up and then they're talking about, oh yeah, how are you feeling? Oh yeah, we're robbed. I'm like, what do you mean robbed? Like, I'm like, no, armed robbers came. I'm like, yeah, are you looking for something? They come and steal something when you guys were not around. They're like, no, we're in here. And armed robbers came in and said, everybody lie down.
You're already lying down.
I was already lying down. So, and then while everything was going on, apparently one of the armed robbers looked at me and said, what's wrong with him? The armed robber said, he's lying down a bit too well. And then the armed robber looks at me and says, what's wrong with him? And he said, and my mom's like, oh, he's not feeling too well. Somebody says he's not feeling too well. And then it's like, meaning like God will look after you.
The armed robber prayed for you.
The armed robber prayed for me. I'm like, yo, I don't know how many armed robbers have prayed for. The armed robber say, yeah, it is well.
And
right.
They finished robbing.
They finished robbing and left. And then I wake up and they were like, yeah, you slept through an armed robbery.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you were drugged.
Yeah.
You were drugged as well.
So there have been moments like that where, back to my moments of glory conversation, where I want to do something, I'm planning something. One of the major fears I usually have is I hope I don't fall ill, especially when it's far.
You have to.
Especially when it's far. If you tell me, okay, in 4 weeks, something is going to happen.
Your mind's already
My mind is
panicking,
already playing
anxiety.
like, God, I beg. In 4 weeks, you have to be somewhere. In 4 weeks, we are going somewhere. My mind is already...
anxiety.
Yeah. Yes, going to mind like, hey, God, I beg. Okay, time to start behaving myself.
What does that mean, behave yourself?
Drinking more water, for starters. At least drinking more water. Not exerting too much energy, because I can go a bit overboard sometimes.
Are there vitamins or supplements or drugs you take in that behaving yourself?
In that behaving myself, I'm more...
Are there drugs, medications?
I'm more routine with my routine medications.
So there are medications you have to be on?
Yeah, there are routine medications where you have to be on. So we have the folic acid, which is supposed to help in the production of red blood cells.
Okay.
Right. So what that helps is it helps produce more. So I think I should have started with this from the beginning, right? What sickle cell actually is or looks like. So our red blood cells, when we produce red blood cells, normal red blood cells are like O's.
They're like
O's.
No, you know what? When I used to do pharmacology and bio doing psych undergrad, they said it's like the moon. So the full one is like the moon. The full moon And then the
sickle
is like the half.
Like the crescent, yes.
That's how
not even half. Half is even nicer.
It's big. It's like the almost end of the month.
Yeah, like the crescent one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
So that's how they used to like make us remember when we're doing the bio part. Yeah.
So the number one is like round, right? So they go this way along the bloodstream and everything is going on fine.
Therefore, then they carry enough oxygen.
Yeah. It's like third mainland at 12 midnight, free, and everything is just moving well. But then when you don't have some sickle cells, some red blood cells that are, when they come out, they're like this. So they usually shaped like a sickle. That's why it's called sickle cell, right? So they're like this, and then you have another one that comes out like this. At some point, while they are flowing in the bloodstream, they'll get stuck to each other. And then another one gets stuck in there, and then there's now a blockage. And then that's when it cries. You see that there's a crisis.
Oh, really?
Right. So when you take folic acid, basically what that has to do is to help in the production of red blood cells. So you are producing more. So if you are producing more, your chances of producing sickle are a bit reduced. So your doctor will tell you, if you don't take anything, take folic acid. Then there's now the preventive malaria medications, right? Those are the ones that are basically supposed to help you to prevent malaria from occurring, because of course, the immune system is low. So you have to be
on it.
Yes, immune system is low. So in Nigeria, malaria is a huge...
In the case where people take malaria, when they have malaria, yours is you have to take it to prevent malaria.
It's not the anti-malaria that everybody knows that, when you're feeling somehow and you say, I have malaria, you can't take the anti-malaria. No. This is a special drug that's supposed to prevent. That one is like you already have the malaria. Let's get rid of the malaria. This one is supposed to stop you from having the malaria.
Also, really? So you take that?
Yeah, Paludrine.
On regular to avoid?
Every day. At the point I had one. At the point I had one where they had the days of the week on it.
So that you don't forget.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt alone or misunderstood on your journey? And how did you deal with that?
Alone.
Like misunderstood? Alone?
Misunderstood? No. Yes, actually.
Story?
I've actually felt, not much of a story, just, I've not felt misunderstood.
Alone,
maybe. Okay, maybe a bit misunderstood in the sense that I don't know what happens to people around me, and I take it as love, right? That's what I've decided to take it as, that it's love and it's people just looking out for me. But for instance, there were times when I've not had a crisis in like 6 months, and then I have a crisis. And then there's like a whole general anthem amongst everybody. Oh, Okiki, you're not taking care of yourself. You don't like. I'm like, I've not had a crisis in over half a year. Like the last crisis I had was I'm trying to, but people are like, no, even though this is, I'm like, guys.
Everybody's an expert.
Can we not? Can we not? I have not. So at the point I stopped fighting that fight. It's just
people will.
You want to say, no, so yeah, go ahead. Although I understand that even this one I just had, which was 4 months, I understand that's a bit. But there've been times when I'm just like, but I've been good. You know, you've been good. But yeah. And then I tell you, your good is not best. Your best is not good enough. I'm like, I'm trying my best. I've been good, especially when I've been good. No. You know, I'm here and I've told you I am normally badly behaved.
Exactly.
So when I've been good.
So we should believe you.
Sometimes when I've been good.
Sometimes.
Yes.
You see, you just changed from I've been good to sometimes.
No. What I'm saying is, it hurts more when I've been good, and then the crisis happens, right. And then this whole conversation of you don't know how to take care of yourself. There was a period. I love you, mommy. But
we love you, mommy.
She doesn't know this, and I've never told her. But there was a period where I did not like talking to my mom.
Because?
I love you, mommy. Because every conversation, no matter what it was. No matter how it started, it will always end up in health talk, talking about how I don't know how to take care of myself, talking about how one thing, just about I'm like, there are many other things to talk about.
What gives you strength during your lowest times or moments when you have a crisis?
I'll put God at the top and make it like a tree, right? So God is, and I'll still come back to God when I get back to me because I'm one of them.
So you give yourself strength?
Don't worry, I'll tell you.
Okay.
So there's God, then there's my parents.
Okay.
Right? God bless my parents. They've been fantastic.
They were made for the job.
I don't want to put it that way, but yes, they've been fantastic. I know that there've been stressful moments when I've come in and it's just, sometimes you can hear the tiredness over the phone, but somehow they always just show up. There was a time my mom was out of the country and I had a crisis and I had been admitted and I slept. Usually the first 2 days I can't, if I introduce me to me, I will not know you.
You're out of it.
I'm out of it. And then second day, I open my eyes and I see my mother. I'm like, no now. Because I mean, of course, it's going to hurt me that she's had to cut short her trip and things like that. So I open my eyes and I see my mom and I'm just like, and then my dad, who is also on the phone, he's on there regularly, even if he doesn't do all the traveling because of work that he has to do, he's on the phone. Second one is my auntie. She's also sickle cell, Auntie Tilewa. Shout out, I love you. She probably does not know this, but watching from afar, she was the only person I knew in my immediate environment
with the similar experience
with sickle cell. And I mean, she's someone I always think about mentally. I always go to her because I mean, right now she's married with 3 kids. Three kids, and she's living a good life. She was one who was.
She lives in Nigeria.
Yeah.
She lives in Nigeria.
No, she's in the UK now.
So I was going to say 3 children in Nigeria.
She had 3 children in Nigeria.
And they were able to manage all the pregnancies.
Yes.
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria. No, in Nigeria.
And they managed.
She had all 3 in Nigeria.
Beautiful.
And then they all relocated. Okay. So she's someone I look up to who, when she's not feeling fine, she will not go to the hospital. She would take care of it at home. She would do certain things at home.
Like what?
Like, okay, she would, of course, take pain meds, drink a lot of water. And then just basically create an environment where she's okay. I've had that. It's not every crisis I've gone to the hospital. There are moments where I've had to do it. So it's not every time an
infection?
No.
It can be just dehydration and just the pain and that's it.
It can be. So some of those miracle moments could probably have just been dehydration or could have just been stress and I just needed to sleep.
So you literally can't get away with dehydration?
No, dehydration is very risky.
For you? So
in my badly behaved behaviors, right? I've had doctors who have looked at me and asked me point blank, how the hell are you still alive? Like how? Like you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do this. How are you alive? Yes, so back to my tree. God, parents, my auntie Tilewa, and then there's me. I have to give myself some credit.
Yes, you have to.
And I'm giving myself some credit.
Yes, you have to.
I'm giving myself some credit because of God. My sense of humor.
You know, that makes it's hard for people. Like, I can't even blame the hospitals because your sense of humor and you laugh through everything is like, I can't even take you halfway seriously because you're laughing through it, but we're talking about something really serious. Yeah. And you've been laughing. I have to hold you that like, let's be serious about this. Like, can't we be serious? It's amazing to see how your sense of humor is allowing you sail through this. It makes talking to you about it so much easier and very light. So I can only imagine when you talk about it's God and you.
It's
like,
God.
yes, you.
My sense of humor is something I actively thank God for.
It's a gift.
Like, I thank God for it because it helps me through the ability I have to make myself laugh and make people around me laugh. I thank God for it because there are moments where I'm supposed to have lost my mind, where I'm supposed to have shouted at people, and I'm just there laughing. I'm like, okay, we're done. In fact, I've started playing a game unconsciously. I've started playing a sort of game where I play a how will they react game.
How will who react?
People I tell when they find out. So I don't come to you, hi, my name is Okiki, and I'm a sickle cell warrior. No. Because I don't really, it's not an information I offer willingly until, at some point, it may have to, at some point it comes up. What happened? You're in the hospital for 2 weeks. Why? Like, no, really, what happened? Where do you get infection from?
Who these people asking these questions?
Colleagues.
Oh, really?
People at church, acquaintances. I mean, yes, you just, and like I said, I always take it from a place of love.
Right.
Okiki has disappeared. Okiki that is usually around for everything, all of a sudden has disappeared for 2 to 3 weeks. Where have you been? I was not feeling fine. Okay, what? I was in the hospital. How long? I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. Why are you in the hospital for 3 weeks? What happened? Do you do surgery? Do you do operation? Do you do this one? Do you do this one? Do you do this one? It's a lot of questions. Do you get? So at some point, I just say, yeah, this is what it is. I have sickle cell. Then I play the game. How will they react? There are 4
reactions.
There are 4 main reactions.
I want to hear. Did I?
Oh, yes.
Did I do one of them? You tell me which one I did. Okay.
You did one of them. You actually did the first one.
All right, let me hear your options and tell me which one I did.
Okay, so the first one is the first one is argument / compliment.
What is that?
Argument / compliment. Okay. So tell me, I'm sickle cell.
OMG.
No, say I'm sickle cell.
Oh, I'm sickle cell. I have sickle cell.
No. Wait, what? Are you serious? No, now. Really? Oh no, real! Oh no, my God, you've done so well. Are you serious? Are you playing? Okiki, you're playing. Are you serious?
Okay.
Oh, you've done so well. That's argument / compliment.
Okay. Which is the next one?
Second is they don't know what to do.
As in?
They don't know how to receive the information.
Oh wow, they just blank.
So let's do action.
Oh, I have sickle cell.
Really? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Really? Like how?
It's a shock.
Yeah, it's a shock.
The shock. Okay, so they're shockers. Okay, what's the third one?
And then the third one, they're the ones who just go into caretaker mode. Right? They're the ones we might have been fighting. I might have been carrying anything. I might have been carrying whatever I wanted to carry. But once they hear, it's all about, you're not carrying anything again. So let's do it. Let's go.
Okay, I have sickle cell.
Are you serious? Hey God. Are you? Hey, we are drop it. Put it down. Sit down. Do you need anything?
Have you eaten?
Have you
something?
Have you taken your drugs? I'm like, what? Before we're just, and it's all from love.
Right.
It's all from love. And then the fourth and final one are the ones where they're indifferent.
Okay.
So it's usually
I have sickle cell.
I have sickle cell. Like, oh, interesting.
Not phased. They're not.
I have a cousin. I have a
okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Those are the main 4. I receive all four with joy. Well, I love the first one because it's always a good laugh for me.
The first one is
always,
really?
it's always, okay, let me not say the first one is a good laugh. I think the one that is more of a good laugh for me would be
the shocker. The speechless one.
The speechless one.
When they like,
because many times, when someone tells you there's some things that you don't notice about yourself, and then when someone makes you conscious of it, that's all you can see. Which is why they tell you, if someone cannot change something in 30 seconds, if somebody cannot change something on their body in 30 seconds, don't tell them about it.
So if I have mouth odor,
you can change it in 30 seconds.
No, I can't. It depends on how quick.
How quick you can get a mint.
What if there's no mint?
Yeah, that's different.
Can you recall a moment when you felt seen or truly understood as a person living with sickle cell?
Okay, yes. Shout out to doctors again. I love it when doctors listen to their patients, when they know, when they speak with them, when they see their patients, because they're the only people I can think of right now.
Really?
When it comes to seeing and properly understanding.
Oh.
Right. So I'm able to see some, I don't know the term to use. I don't want to call them no-nonsense doctors, but there are some doctors that will just say, I don't need this. Like, you can almost hear them say, I don't need this stress right now. I'm just going to sort this out and keep it moving.
Oh, wow.
And I love it. So, you know how sometimes they tell you that knowledge is power?
Right.
But I've come to realize over the years, especially with me living with sickle cell, that many times knowledge is suspicion.
What does that mean?
So, I'm having an episode, right? And I go and meet a doctor, and which is why earlier I said I don't really like new doctors. I don't like meeting new doctors because I'm not trying to build a whole new profile, as opposed to a doctor who knows me and knows my personality and knows things about me. It's easier, right? I mean, I love it when a doctor sees me, and when a doctor who's supposed to set my line sees me and just busts out laughing. I love it because he knows. My last admission, it was even an Egyptian doctor who was supposed to be the best in the hospital. He came into the room, saw me, and just burst out laughing like, "Oh God, why this guy?" It was cute. It was beautiful.
He knew you.
He knew me. Okay. Because I always give him a tough time. So when he saw me, you know that kind of laugh of,
not
hey,
again.
God, not again. But it wasn't. It wasn't funny. Yes, it wasn't. What's the word? Bad in any way.
Yeah.
With any bad intentions. So when I say, sometimes they tell you when they say knowledge is power, but I realize in my case, sometimes knowledge is suspicion, is the fact that I meet a doctor and the doctor is still, okay, we'll need to do a test. And I'm like, okay, look, doctor, can we do this? Well, before we do the test, can I get 30 mg of pentazocine and 15 mg of promethazine? Because pentazocine makes me throw up. So the promethazine will stop me. So can we? And I'm reading out this.
You already know.
I already know. And I'm like, okay, and also, can we also add like 2 mils of diclofenac so that, and I'm saying these things. And then the doctor looks at me and then.
Are you a doctor?
No, it's not that thing. Ask me, am I a doctor? Let me tell you no. But I can see in your eyes that doctor is now looking at me and he's suspecting me of being an addict. So now I have to start managing my knowledge. Many times I've had to manage my knowledge. So I many times I've had to gauge.
But if you are given all that pre-information, that is basically you trying to help the doctor.
So this is the thing.
Because you live with it.
Yes.
You've had several episodes. So you know what has worked. So if as a doctor, the patient is telling you at your age, in your mid-30s, yeah, they would know what has worked over the years.
Anti-I. So the thing is, I realized that even a doctor who came out of medical school 2 years ago was still not. Many times I've wanted to blurt out, and I hope doctors see this. And I want to mention.
Yeah, what would you want doctors to know? What would you want? Literally, look in the camera. What would you want doctors to know?
Hi, doctors.
Yeah.
So this is it, right?
I am a sickle cell.
I'm a sickle cell warrior, and I feel you should listen to your patients many times. Many of them have been sickle cell patients longer than you've been a doctor. So they know some things. So if I come to a doctor and I tell the doctor, I need this, I need this, I need this. See, I understand where your fears are coming from. That's okay. Could it be that he's already self-medicating, he's already using? There's that fear, and it's okay. Right? There was one time a doctor legit tried to make me feel like my body was lying to me.
Gaslighting.
I was in pain.
They were gaslighting your pain.
I was in pain. And my face was in the pillow and I was there. And then because I had just left the hospital, maybe like a few days before, there's something called relapse. Relapse is a concept. It happens. People relapse, right? And then I come back and I'm like, I'm in pain. And then this doctor goes, well, are you sure you're really in pain? Or your brain is just making you think that you are in pain because so that your body, because we gave you pain meds the last time. And many of these strong pain meds, yes, there's a certain euphoria that comes with them. So when you take it, yes, there's the feeling of there's a high feeling, if I can use that word, before maybe you sleep, or but there's just a feeling somewhere in there. So that's, could it be that your body is, and in the midst of my pain, I just looked up and just looked at this guy like, really? You are trying to tell me now that my pain is not really paining just because you are afraid that I'm using.
Yeah, but then you have the situations too where people are addicted to pain meds.
Which is why I don't take it away.
How, as a doctor now, does he, what would you want a doctor to know to decide if this patient has an addiction to the pain meds, or they just know a lot and they know what works for them?
I really don't
because
know.
it's hard for the doctors.
So I'm saying I understand.
So I hear you.
What I'm saying is
but at the
I
same
understand
time,
where they're coming
it's hard.
from. It's hard also for them. At one point where I knew this was ridiculous, right? I mean, I understand where there's that place where I don't want the situation where this guy is already using and he's just coming here to form, blah, blah, blah. But when someone is asking me, how do you know pentazocine? The way your mouth is the way my mouth was. And I'm like,
At my big age?
At my big age. Because one thing that I've learned from my mom is to always ask questions. See, my mom, any injection that is coming into my body. Sorry, which injection is that?
What is it for?
Is it only
side effects?
How long? Okay, did you mix it? So she will ask.
You have to know.
So that's something I've taken from my mom.
Yeah.
Right?
You need to educate yourself.
I need to know what's going into my body. And it has helped because many times they've come and I'll ask what's that. They'll say pentazocine and I'll ask, is it mixed with promethazine? They're like, no, why? I'm like, because pentazocine makes me throw up and all this that we're trying to do here is defeated. So please, can you mix with promethazine? And they don't, you know what? Don't give me. Just ask doctor first. That has helped. But when you are coming to ask me, because and I was like, pentazocine, I was like, how do you know pentazocine? I'm like, now that one is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah. No, for sure. This should not be.
So many times knowledge is suspicion. And I realized that even when I'm in the hospital, I have to manage my knowledge. I have to manage how I ask for meds. So at this point, what I'm doing now is I'm at the hospital and I'm now taking so that to wash me.
Yeah.
To launder my image, if I can use that term. So that I don't keep asking for a particular drug.
Right.
Right. And I understand that it's very easy.
Yes.
I will lie to you. The feelings are great.
Yes.
But to launder my image, what I start doing is I start taking notes okay, by this time I took this. By this time I took this. So that when I tell you that I need this injection,
you see,
and you come and tell me why, yes, I'll tell you because the doctor said it is 4 hourly. The last time he gave it to me was 4 to 5 hours ago. I have been taking notes. So at that point, you are not looking at me with any eye. You know that you're supposed to give me that medication.
So there is a struggle with meds.
Many times there's
as
a
a
struggle.
sickle cell patient.
Many times there's a struggle, especially mostly with pain meds. Mostly with pain meds.
Because of the addiction.
Because of the fear of addiction.
But then there's also the fear of overdosing on these meds that would actually cause your heart to stop.
About 4 admissions ago, that one I was tired. There have been moments where I've been tired. Maybe at some point we'll get to that, but there were moments where I was tired.
Tired of what?
Everything. Everything. I think 4 admissions? About 5 admissions ago, I started writing letters.
To who?
People. I had started writing letters. I had started giving instructions.
To who? Did your mother ever?
Parents. No, she didn't know.
Because from what you've told me, your mother would not accept.
My mom is a pastor, my dad is a pastor. They will never
accept.
What are you saying? But I started writing letters. I wrote a letter I started writing to my mom. I was already drafting what I was going to write to my crush at the time. That baby girl, this didn't work out, but I still love you. I was already leaving notes.
Because of?
I didn't want to leave notes to my mom. I was going to leave, like of course, the instructions, like, oh, nobody should wear black. I don't want a service of songs. I want a praise party. I don't want a service. Let's have a praise party where people come and dance, because I was not I was not that guy that you would think of and be sad. I want people to come and let there be a celebration of life. So they've been
low like that.
Yeah, they've been.
It was because of the meds or because of the pain?
No. Okay, so that's what brought me back. What took me down that path? So I think it was three to 4 admissions ago, and I was in the hospital and I was in pain. And my pastor, who's also like a big brother, uncle, mentor of mine, shout out to Uncle K and Auntie B, they came to see me in the hospital, and he asked the question and said, like, what's going on? And I was like, I'm in pain. I don't know what's going on. And then he wanted to go and, speak to the doctor. She was like, what's going on here? Although the hospital at that time, there were a lot of mess ups that they were doing at that time. And I was giving him updates because he was calling me every day. So he was already upset that the hospital had been messing up. And then he goes to the doctor, and then the doctor tells him that anything we add right now can kill this guy. We've gotten to the pinnacle of the drugs that we can give him at specific times. If we add anything right now, it will overburden his heart and he can go from there. So my uncle came back and told me, and I was just like,
you have to scale through.
I'm tired. I'm tired.
And the pain wouldn't stop.
Eventually, I'm here, aren't I? Thankfully, things got better. And
so that's one of the hardest episodes, you think?
Yeah, it was.
That's the hardest crisis you've ever had. If you think back, could that one have?
No, it wasn't necessarily the hardest. But the fact that a doctor would tell me that they've gone to the height, to the max of what they can give me.
Have you maxed out like that before? Before that and after that?
No, I don't think I maxed out. I don't think I maxed out like that before.
That was the only time you had maxed out?
That's the only time that I had maxed out. And right. So it wasn't that we couldn't... It wasn't that they couldn't give me anymore. It was just... So maybe they give me a drug. a pain med that's supposed to last for 4 hours. Let's say 4 hours. You give me the pain med, and by 1 hour, it's one off. The pain is back. Which means for the next 3 hours, I have to sojourn through. So what the doctors now try to do is try to now pace them so that you are not left with something for too long. So you know how I say the beginning, the first 2 days are usually very tough. Because at that point,
you're in the heat of it.
I'm in the heat of it, right? So seeing that I'm not left without something, they're giving a lot. And then now, okay, it's getting better, let's space it out a bit. It's getting better, let's space it out.
Okay. So what fears do you carry? Or do you carry any fears, and how do you work through them?
So there used to be the fear of course, death.
Anytime you're taking meds.
From a crisis.
But how would a crisis cause a death?
I don't exactly know.
Because you're saying it could be one, you are dehydrated, so your blood pressure is dropping.
Mm-hmm.
When you're having a crisis, it's pain, whole body pain or joints pain. How does that lead to death?
I don't exactly know the science of it. Okay. But of course, dehydration is a very...
No, the low blood pressure, yes, could knock you out.
It's a huge part of it. I'm sure maybe infections, when infections are just ravaging your body and nothing is...
So you basically don't know if there's infection with any crisis you have. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. Of course, you have to go and do like a test. But usually, sometimes if you have chest pain, right? If your chest is hurting, that's you. Yes, for me, there's probably a sign of a chest infection. So my parents don't joke with chest pains. Okay. So I can be telling them, "Oh, I'm having pains here." Once I say chest, that my chest is hurting,
okay.
Go to the hospital because
that's your own.
Yeah, and then there's also something called acute chest syndrome. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like a very risky thing in with sickle cell, acute chest syndrome.
Okay. That's also an infection as well.
I don't know if it's an infection, but it's something that they say is very bad. Hopefully I don't get there. But, but the major fear used to be death, right? But then I've just gotten to a point where, hey, it's not about...
It's not all doom.
Yes, it's not about how long, it's how well. Do you get? Because there are young people who die. So it's not about how long, it's how well.
How do you work through that when the thought comes or when you're going through it phase like that? How do you pull through that phase?
I pray, I sing.
You pray, you sing. Any person you go to is any go-to person, and you just internalize everything. Oh
well, I have a couple of friends that I speak to. Especially when I get to that place when I'm tired. Yeah. I have a couple of friends I speak to.
Okay.
Shout out to Shaliwa, Shubomi, Jade, Okwe. I speak to them. I just say like, look, I'm tired.
And they don't do the pity party with you.
Oh no. Well, they are more. They are not really. They are very. They're a group of very strong women.
Okay.
So there was one I sent to. I was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Yeah, I think I'm ready to go. Go where? I want to go and see Jesus. Who is Jesus?"
So that's what.
Where are you going? So I have these people have been around me and they just
snap out of it.
Yeah.
They know how to get you out of it.
They just know how to. Shout out to Beatrice as well. Beatrice does a lot. Yeah. Oh no, Beatrice is one person I showed a note before I deleted it. I showed her a note. I showed her a note and then I deleted it. I told her I wrote a note. She was like, "Oh yeah, right." And then I showed her the note.
That.
Yeah.
You're tired.
That I made. So the content of the note was, I'm not sure I would wake up tomorrow. But I want you to know that this was not suicide. Something along the lines of, I don't want people to cry. I just want people to remember me for the bubbly guy that I am. Along those lines. And then
I hope she snapped out of it and she snapped you out of it.
Who, she?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was already out of the hospital. It was after I come out of the hospital.
Wow.
And after that, everything. No, it's like...
So there's fear with every crisis?
Not with every crisis. Not really with every crisis. But it will just get to a place where sometimes, okay, could this be it? Could this be it?
So could this be it? Is the pain, or is how you feel, or which of these crises makes you think could this be it?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. So when I get admitted, there's usually like a timeline. I usually have like an unwritten timeline. At least by day 2, day 3, I should be able to see road.
Okay.
Yes, there's still pain. Yes, but I should be able to see the way I feel. I should be able to see road. I should be able to see a pathway out of the woods. Right? But if I don't see that, I start asking questions like, yo, what's going on? Then person will now start asking doctors, what's going on? Do I need to do a chest x-ray? Do I need to do this? Because even the doctors themselves were asking questions because they've done the main 3, which is they've done the top 3 for me, which would be rehydration, pain management, and checking to see if there's infections.
How do you balance hope and reality in managing such a chronic illness?
Hope is... So shout out to my parents, right?
Yeah.
A big shout out to my parents. They've been very instrumental in the whole part.
Mm.
They've been very instrumental in the hope part. Because right from when I was young, they would always... It was only a few things I could not really do, but everything else, they would let me do. It was something that would now make me go overboard. Hey,
like
who draw?
What is one of the things that you really wanted to do, and they said no, this one we're not doing.
Thank you, Ghana. My class were planning to go on a trip. I think it was Habitat for Humanity. Right?
In Ghana.
Mm-hmm. We're supposed to go to a school, to a village, and then it's just, that thing that kids do. They're not really building the house. They just go there
and support
and put a project together. I wanted to go and do that. For some reason, I remember the night before, all I said was, I had a little headache. It was going to happen, this trip was going to happen the next day. And then I had a little headache, and they were like, oh, okay, just take your medicine. And then the next day, we were supposed to be in school. I was to meet at school by like 7, 8. So 5, 6, I'm up, getting ready and everything. And I go to Irene. Hello, Daddy, Mommy, it's time. I'll go to school. She's like, you are not going. And they slept back. No flinching. See.
No prior notice.
He pained me, Mary. No, as a man, they didn't even flinch.
They already knew you were going to go.
They already knew. From that headache yesterday.
They knew you were going to go, but
that.
he did not know. He didn't know.
They just, you are not going. And then
it was a done deal for them. Like, it's just, you were the one that was left out of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. It was a done deal. So, for the most part, they've been very instrumental in hope, in the conversations, in the prayers. My mom is, like I said now, marriage. My mom is...
Oh yeah, we need to talk about that.
Oh yeah, we're going to... Dancing it, sorry.
Yeah, the marriage.
Yeah, it will happen now.
So we're going to do that. We're going to walk down the aisle.
Yes.
Have you started scouting for a while?
Oh yes, we're looking.
We're looking. Do you need help in selecting? I can help.
Why you help?
I'll help you select.
Okay, no problem. Welcome. So there's a whole search party right now.
Oh, really?
Let me tell you something.
Can we put ourselves in a WhatsApp group?
All of you will be in a WhatsApp group.
We should put ourselves in a WhatsApp group for you.
All of you will be. I'll have your own. On my wedding day, you guys will have your own table. Maybe like 2 because people are plenty. It will be the GOMA group. That's what will be on the table. Get Okiki Married Association.
Sorry, what? Guess what?
Get Okiki Married Association. You guys will be on 2 tables. 2. Because you people right now, there are a lot. And if you see the first I've gotten married, someone has threatened me that she would call me for an event. Because I MC events, she will come and say, okay, of course, I'm going to an event. I'm going to be all dressed up. I'm going to get there and I'm going to discover that it's my wedding. That's what she's told me. She's going to do that. Be a nice. And then I will get there and then they'll be like, oh, just go to the front and I will get there. And then if I try to walk away, they will time me down. That. They've told me that. Not once, not twice.
Do you still want to MC? Aren't you scared of taking the MC jobs right now? No, but aren't you scared of taking the MC jobs right now?
No, not really.
So you could literally walk into your wedding, you know?
I know, that's a possibility.
That's a possibility, but it's a happy possibility.
At least let me know the girl now.
No, it's a happy...
At least let me know the girl.
You will.
Let me know whether she get good character.
You will.
In front.
Yeah, you will.
I'm like, okay,
but you don't trust your friends.
What are your thoughts on gender roles?
We don't trust your friends. You don't trust someone like me.
Oh no, I trust you guys. I trust you guys.
So you have a lot of me out there looking out for you.
There's a search party right now.
Yeah, you should trust us. That will find someone, you know. You're just walking with your mic. What do you say to or what would you want to say to your younger self or a child who has been newly diagnosed with sickle cell? And they're watching this today.
A child who has been newly diagnosed.
Or to your younger self that found out. To your younger self. So let's say a child that has been diagnosed because you are such a comedian, we don't even want to, you're such a bubbly, positive person. But what would you say to a younger child going to primary school who has been made aware that they have sickle cell?
I'd say be strong.
Really, what does that mean? Do you understand? Can you break that down? So, it's a young person.
Yes, a young person.
So what would you tell that young person?
So when I say be strong, that's because many times people will misunderstand you. People will not understand why you make certain decisions, why you do certain things. For me now, I'm someone who, being by myself, I'm okay to a very large extent. And it was a few years back, I was thinking about that. Why is that? And it's because I realized that most times growing up, there was a time when my mom would always be with me in the hospital. But at the point I had to stop. Why? Because there were other 3 at home. Or there were other children at home. And I couldn't. Yeah, of course, I'm very close with my mom because of those moments where we would always be in the hospital together. She would always, in the morning, she would go home and then come back. Like, it was that. But at a point, I can't even remember, but I think we had a conversation about it. The first day she was going to leave me by myself in the hospital. I think there was a conversation, I'm not sure. But at the point, she had to leave me. And from then on,
you had to?
I would be by myself in the hospital.
So to the younger person?
I'd say be strong. I'd say be of good cheer. Science has come a long way. Medicine has come a long way. I hear that now they have an editing program where they are now working on editing your, I don't know if it's the bone marrow, but it's just that they're editing something in the production of the red blood cells that would for the sickle cells, it will make it whole. So you are technically producing whole red blood cells. So science and medicine have come a long way. right? So be of good cheer, explore those possibilities. Sometimes it'll be hard. But be strong and don't lose hope.
You are very, very strong yourself. It's really, really amazing to look at your journey. What legacy or message do you hope to leave through sharing your story today? Yeah, after all the laughter and catching cruise, what message do you really want to leave at the end of this conversation for people to hear? Doctors, nurses, other people with the same condition, parents.
There's something I believe sincerely, and I always say to anybody that I can tell it to. Your problems are not necessarily for you. Yeah. Your problems are not necessarily for you. I feel like whatever it is you're going through right now is to help someone in future. All right? Okay. Imagine so my mom now, shout out to my mom, she's been the parent of 2 sickle cell warriors. Imagine another 10, 20 years. A new mother comes and says, Mommy, they just said my child is sickle cell, it's the end of the world. Imagine how that conversation is going to go. She's going to sit down. Or she'll tell the young mother, sit down, calm yourself. It's not that bad. And she might not say it's not that bad, but she'll first have a laugh, depending on what the person says, this is the end of the world. And no, the conversation will happen that it's not really the end of the world. I have 2. I've raised 2. They're doing great things with their life. So I believe, I'm a strong, firm believer in your problems are not necessarily for you. They are for the edification of people in future. You are going to use it to encourage people. You go through things to use it to encourage people, to edify people, to make people, to make people believe that they are not alone in the world. Right? I'm a warrior. I meet someone in 10, 20 years. I'm going to tell this person, look, do you see me? Look at me. You like what you see. So that's it. Your problems are not for you.
Yeah.
So whatever it is you're looking for, practice the testimony. Yeah. Practice the way you would tell somebody else. Practice how you're going to use it to edify somebody else. Practice how you're going to use it to encourage somebody else.
That's good. It's quite encouraging. Future plans?
Future plans, of course. I think we will get to that marriage at some point.
The one we're searching for.
Yeah, the ones, of course. I have
a lot of us.
My goons outside searching. And yes, I would like to raise a family, have kids, build a media empire, be a great father, a wonderful husband, and just take the world by storm.
Right. So if there's any possibility of the bone marrow transplant, they call it, or what do they call it, would you take it?
Oh, I didn't finish the story. We actually tried.
No, we skipped it. You said you wanted to, was expensive.
We started but it was expensive. And I don't think it was the expensive one that actually stopped it at that point. Right. Okay, so let me tell you why I think we stopped it. Because my mom was all about it, had been talking about it. And then at some point she stopped talking about it after the conversation. So yesterday was in Ghana. We heard that Ghana, they had done like 8 successful surgeries. So yeah, I went to Ghana. We went for tests to see who was a match. I think only family members can be the donors. Nobody else, only immediate family members. And then we go there So I'm sickle cell.
Your brother.
My younger brother is sickle cell also. So we do a test for the whole family. We find out who's a match. I think I'm a match with my sister. Either my sister or my dad. I can't remember exactly. But I was not a match with my mom. Now, she never said this, but I feel it may have hurt her a bit that she was not a match with me. Why? Because many times, it would have been a bit of it would have been poetic, right?
The mother says.
Yeah. And all the time when I'm in pain, all these years, she had always said, I wish I could take the pain away. I wish I could share this pain with you. So it would have just been really beautiful if she was the one to donate.
Mm-hmm.
But it was not the case. I think my dad was able to donate to my brother or either for me. Anyway, she was not in the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go and meet the nurse. We're having a conversation and they say, I hope you know that my brother was 10, 11 at this point. And they are talking about, and I'm like 16 years older than him. So they look at my parents and they say, okay, so for Ibukonlua, that's the youngest, if we go ahead with it, of course he's the youngest, so it's still very possible with him. If we do it, there's a 50% chance of infertility.
Of what?
There's a 50% chance of infertility.
Infertility?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what they told us for him.
Okay.
This is the child who was 10, 11.
Okay.
And I'm like, and they say it gets worse as you grow older. And I'm like, so
what
me
does that mean for you?
Me that I don't pay for this place. And then the nurse looks at us, matter of factly, and says, are you looking for health or are you looking for kids? You'd have to make a choice. Now, I don't know if that's the reason why we didn't pursue it anymore. Honestly, I'd never been a fan of the idea because it was just very expensive.
Sorry. Life.
Mm-hmm.
And health.
Mm.
I don't know how many rounds of crisis you would have to go through to make up with that money that would have cost you to do it.
Mm.
Don't you think after I don't know how many years of rounds of crisis, you would meet that amount of money anyways? You spend that amount of money anyways. No?
Not really.
But it's life. It gives you longevity. Yeah. Or it promises to give you longevity, you know?
I had just never been attracted to the concept. And I know that there are many people who want to judge me right now. But I'd never been attracted to the concept. For you. For me. I'd never been attracted to the concept of a bone marrow transplant. I had never been. I didn't know why, but I just never been.
Is it because you heard of the infertility part?
No. Oh no, that's.
Or is it the pain, or is it the infection?
That infertility part increased my. I will not do it.
Your dislike.
My mom actually, at the point she had a conversation with me and she begged me and she was like, "Please, let's do this." And I'm like, "It's too expensive." But looking at like $50,000, that's just for the procedure. I'd have to go to India. That means we are planning to live in India for 6 months to 1 year. Because, like I said, you have to cut out like 1 year of your life. We're going to India. Now we're going to do this bone marrow transplant. It may not be successful.
Oh, there's no guarantee.
There's no. So how you know that? So what you would use is, okay, they've done over 100, so you're like, okay.
But they're going to see success.
But there's still a chance that they will wake up your white blood cells and your white blood cells will be like,
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, that's just a lot of money. And my mom was like, yeah, don't worry, would find a way. So she begged me that at least I should come to Ghana for that.
Was that same amount in Ghana as well?
No, I think it was a bit more expensive because Ghana, they had just started.
Also, it's more expensive in Ghana.
So it was like 8. No, I think it was a bit cheaper. I think the Ghanaian one was run by, it was sort of like a charity situation.
Okay.
Donor grants, someone having money somewhere. So I think that's what it was.
Wow. Thank you for, I don't even know what to say. I wish you all the best. Really.
I love that.
I really wish you all the best.
I wish you all the best.
Yeah, like it's a lot, you know, but I love your energy and the way you look at it and how you smile through it.
It does. Frowning will not change anything.
It won't, but definitely you're smiling and the energy, the positive energy you have in carrying it and bearing it is definitely made the conversation much lighter and very warm. Thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to reach out to you to ask questions, or they may be going through it as well, they want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you?
At Okiki Akindele on Instagram.
Sorry.
At Okiki, OKIKIAKINDELE on Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And yeah.
I'm so badly behaved, I don't even post anything. I don't post anything about the condition.
But you answer DMs, yeah?
Yes, I answer my DMs.
So please, we stay in touch.
Definitely.
Because we have a wedding to plan.
Yeah, of course. I'm wedding to plan.
All right.
This is Mary with the Voice podcast, healing souls one story at a time.